Hi guys, Rock and Roblox out here with another countdown video. It's been a while, but I'm going to start doing a lot of them now because I've got a new MacBook Pro, new editing software, lots of stuff that I can do a lot of editing with, and I'm going to be off school for a while, so I'll have a lot of time to make lots of videos. I'm planning to make a full feature film, lots of cool stuff is coming for you guys. But basically I'm doing a countdown video now because school is finished. I've just finished my senior year of high school a couple of days ago, so I'm doing a countdown to celebrate that. The top 25 films that have come out in the last 4 years. The rules are it had to have come out after September 2010 and before today. So without further ado, here is my countdown.
Number 25, Rush from 2013. A drama about the race rivalry between James Hunt, played by Chris Hemsworth in his best performance to date, and Niki Lauda, played by Daniel Bruhl, who is on Oscar level with his performance. Ron Howard's fast-paced and visually stunning sports drama is most impressive in the depths it delves into to show the fiery love-hate relationship between Hunt and Lauda and their conflicting outlooks on racing and life. 24, Lincoln from 2012. The Spielberg biopic that won Daniel Day-Lewis his third Oscar and almost won Tommy Lee Jones his second is one of the best studies of an American hero ever put to film, and shows Lincoln in the flesh with all his flaws and internal conflicts while still having great respect for the great man that changed the course of history. Each performance is stellar, and the film is well paced and has some wonderfully suspenseful Congress scenes in which Tommy Lee Jones was certainly the hero. Lincoln, however, is most special in getting to the bottom of the great man who led the Union during the Civil War and showing him for who he was instead of as propaganda. 23, The Grand Budapest Hotel from 2014. Wes Anderson's latest film is hilarious, random, and a little bit insane, but all for a reason. With a hilarious performance from Ray Fiennes that won't but should be Oscar nominated next year, and pristine set design, cinematography, and supporting performances, The Grand Budapest Hotel tells the crazy story of a lobby boy working his way up to the top of the hotel chain under the guidance of his eccentric boss, played by Fiennes. With a unique sense of humour, a fully thought out and detailed world, and non-stop excitement, The Grand Budapest Hotel is one of the best movies of the year so far. 22, Philomena from 2013. One of last year's biggest tearjerkers, Philomena is the true-to-life tale of Philomena Lee, who, with journalist Martin Sixsmith, set off to America to find her long-lost son who would be taken away from her by nuns who didn't believe an unmarried mother should take care of their child. With a stunning performance by Judi Dench, excellent writing and acting by Steve Coogan, and masterful directing by Stephen Frears, Philomena gets to the bottom of an exceptional human interest story without condescension. It's a feels-heavy movie with a good heart and lots of sly social commentary. 21, Rango from 2011. Perhaps the weirdest film to come out in the past few years, Rango was easily one of the best animated movies I saw. The voice acting is incredible, and the animation even more so, with the slightly quirky western landscape and unique animal characters designed in very creative ways. It fully deserved the animated feature Oscar it won, and it will stay one of my favourite animated movies for quite a long time. Number 20, The Avengers from 2012. The Avengers was probably the best movie-going experience of high school, as I remember going with my friends and laughing non-stop. And while the one-liners aren't as good the second time you watch it, there are enough of them and enough awesome action to keep you entertained each time. The real reason, however, that I think The Avengers was so successful was the way it handled bringing some of the greatest superheroes together and having there actually be a story between them, as well as internal and external conflict, lots of ego, and quite a bit of bromance. Oh, and Samuel L. Jackson is awesome too. Number 19, Premium Rush from 2012. One of the funniest movies of the past few years, Premium Rush was a light-hearted and exciting chase movie featuring wonderful performances from Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Michael Shannon, both looking like they are having a great time. With such one-liners as "suck it, douchebag," where could you go wrong? Not to mention, I managed to use it to make my Top General Gets a Rush video. Overall, Premium Rush is an incredibly fun movie with some unique filmmaking that anyone can enjoy. Number 18, Moneyball from 2011. The best sports movie of the past few years, Moneyball was perhaps Jonah Hill's breakthrough dramatic performance, and featured a great one from Brad Pitt as well. Studying Oakland athletics' rise from obscurity into a competitive baseball team in 2002, the film was one of the deepest studies in sports film history. Number 17, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, 2011. What a way to end one of the biggest franchises in film history, even though they're apparently making more now. The 8th Potter film has the best pacing of all of them, with a few hours of non-stop action, avoiding all the boring developments of the 7th. The final film put some great closure on the series, and was actually better than the last book in my opinion. Plus, who can forget Voldemort's no? Number 16, 127 Hours from 2010. One of James Franco's greatest dramatic performances, although I'll say Spring Breakers was his best. 127 Hours is pretty much a one-man show directed with precision by the legendary Danny Boyle. Exploring the struggles of a man whose arm is trapped under a rock for 127 hours before he finally, spoiler alert, cuts it off to save himself, 127 Hours is thought-provoking, sad, and at times quite gross. It's one of those films that you just have to see. Number 15, Rise of the Planet of the Apes from 2011. Another great James Franco film. Rise reimagined the Planet of the Apes franchise in a way no franchise has really been imagined before. Not only does it have one of the best motion capture performances of all time from Andy Serkis playing Top Chimp Caesar, but it actually cares about its characters, and we really get a sense of why the chimps decide to take over the world. Rise works as a drama, thriller, sci-fi movie, and even as a horror movie, and it's hard to master all those genres in just over 100 minutes of screen time. Number 14, The Wolf of Wall Street from 2013. One of the funniest movies I've ever seen. The Wolf of Wall Street is 3 hours plus long, but it's worth every minute. DiCaprio's performance is legendary. I might have even voted for him for the Oscar, and not just because it's Leonardo DiCaprio. There's a scene where he's high on Quaaludes and his body is almost completely numb, and he rolls down the stairs, gets into his car feet first, and drives home, which is the best piece of physical acting that I've ever seen. Jonah Hill is also hilarious, as is everyone else in this Scorsese film, which is one of his best. It completely proves that he's still got it, and probably will have for a while. Number 13, Her from 2013. I'm not going to lie, Her would have been higher on this list earlier on simply because it topped my list for the best films of 2013. But since then, I've revisited some of the other 2013 films, and they've stuck with me a little bit more. Still, Her is an instant classic, both timely and timeless, both pleasing and saddening, and an effective drama, romance, and science fiction thought-provoker. It's one of the most unique films of our times, a masterpiece in filmmaking craft that pulls no punches with its messages about love and life. Joaquin Phoenix's performance is great, and Scarlett Johansson's performance is legendary. Definitely also the best screenplay of the last 4 years. Number 12, Seven Psychopaths in 2012. One of the most weird and wonderful films I've seen, Seven Psychopaths is a favourite among my group of friends and one of my personal favourites as well. About a screenwriter working on a film about 7 psychopaths who somehow manages to meet many of the characters he's writing about in real life, the film explores the world of writing and of violence and crime with great observation. Also included are some hilarious turns from Christopher Walken, Tom Waits, and my favourite in the film, Woody Harrelson. Number 11, Chronicle from 2012. The best superhero film since The Dark Knight was not a popular Marvel or DC blockbuster, but a small found-footage indie film called Chronicle, which chronicles the downfall of 3 teenagers who come across the power of telekinesis and each experiment with it in their own ways. The anti-hero Andrew is one of the scariest characters in history, and I will remember the scene in which he confronts his abusive father for the rest of my life. It's probably the best and definitely the most dramatic and human found-footage film ever made. Number 10, Skyfall from 2012. The best of the new James Bond movies, though Casino Royale is good too, Skyfall is potentially the most British movie of all time, but it's also one of the most international as well. With affecting performances from Daniel Craig, Ray Fiennes, and especially Judi Dench, Skyfall is a sentimental and thrilling closure to Dench's tenure as M. Don't forget either Javier Bardem's amazing Bond villain and Adele's great theme song. Number 9, Argo from 2012. Ben Affleck has proven himself as a very proficient director in recent years, with Argo as his best effort. A Best Picture winner, Argo rightfully beat out Lincoln and Zero Dark 30 to win the top prize, although you'll find later that there were 2 I thought even more worthy that year. Still, Argo is a highly entertaining movie, and I don't think there could have been a better one about the Iran hostage crisis of the 70s. With a fantastic ensemble of great performances, excellent pacing and cinematography, and tons of style, Argo was the best of the many 70s-themed movies to come out over the past few years. Number 8, The World's End from 2013. The perfect end to a near-perfect trilogy of fantastic comedy films, The World's End was Edgar Wright, Nick Frost, and Simon Pegg's Mickey take on the science fiction genre, bringing in the half-parody, half-original comedy themes of Shaun of the Dead and the Hot Fuzz full circle. And while it's hard to pick out which of these was the funniest, I think The World's End was the most entertaining, with the best cinematography, most creative action scenes, and of course, tons of humour. There are also some great performances and quite a few genuine messages about humanity in there. Number 7, Django Unchained from 2012. One of Tarantino's countless flawless movies, Django Unchained is easily his funniest and his best social commentary. With Christoph Waltz in a very deserving second Oscar-winning turn as a bounty hunter who hires the slave Django to kill white slave owners with him, Django Unchained explores the evils of slavery with wit, detail, and pristine character development. Performances from Samuel L. Jackson and Leonardo DiCaprio, who should have really won the Oscar but wasn't even nominated, make the film even better, and who can forget the KKK scenes when they're fighting over the bags? That's some hilarious satire right there. Number 6, Gravity from 2013. Gravity is one of those films that you watch once and you realise you're not going to see anything like it from years to come. Like Avatar back in 2009, Gravity has such good effects and cinematography that the story, no matter how flawed, doesn't seem to matter. and I for one don't have too big of a problem with the story, even if some of the dialogue is a bit silly and there are a few inconsistencies. Gravity was the most influential film of 2013, and one of my favourites too. It's a huge step forward for filmmakers and brings exciting prospects for the future. Number 5, The Lego Movie from 2014. Now here's a film where everything actually was awesome. My favourite animated film of the past few years, The Lego Movie actually had me clapping in my seat, screaming, and almost crying in happiness at, well, how awesome it was. What could have been a cash-in ended up being an earnest, nostalgic, and beautiful exploration of imagination. One that didn't stop the laughs, kept you involved and on the edge of your seat throughout, and bombarded you with scene after scene of imaginative artwork, meaningful character cameos, and lots of themes that didn't at all condescend. Not to mention there was Will Ferrell's best performance of all time, both in voice and in the greatest cameo in history. Number 4, The Descendants from 2011. This Alexander Payne drama is one of my favourite films. About a father in Hawaii who, in the middle of the crisis over the land his family owns, finds out that his wife has been cheating on him after she goes into a coma after a boating accident. The Descendants explores issues such as family values, commitment, forgiveness, love and acceptance. A drama that takes countless twists and turns and is held by a tour de force performance by George Clooney. The Descendants is full of love, heartbreak and tons of feels. In the end, it's about a normal family dealing with abnormal circumstances, and that is evident in its ending scene, one of the most genuine in recent memory, a top recommendation. Number 3, The Social Network from 2010. David Fincher's drama about the formation of Facebook from Mark Zuckerberg's Harvard dorm room might have played around with the facts a bit, but in doing so it became one of the most exciting, at times funny, and well-acted dramas of recent memory. A truly zeitgeisty movie, The Social Network features a breakthrough performance from Jesse Eisenberg, and great ones too from Andrew Garfield and the multi-talented Justin Timberlake. One of Fincher's best films, The Social Network says a lot about the connection between our generation and the way that businesses work. At its centre is a lonely but incredibly intelligent character who knows exactly how to change the world and does so quite easily, with some help from other geniuses. It's one of the most innovative films of our generation, and it really should have won Best Picture. Number 2, This Is the End from 2013. The funniest film of the past 4 years, and perhaps the funniest film I've ever seen. This Is the End is a raucous comedy that pulls no punches and doesn't ever censor itself. At times gross out, offensive, self-deprecating and nostalgic, This Is the End features top-notch performances from all of its leads and seems like they had more fun making it than any other movie. I could talk for hours about each individual joke and it would be impossible to pick favourites, but the exorcism of Jonah Hill, Does the Power of Christ Compel Me? It's not very compelling, and the Michael Cera cameo are two of many highlights. It's more laugh a second than laugh a minute, and it actually says a lot about our generation, especially bro culture. Plus, there's a Backstreet cameo. What could go wrong? And finally, number 1, Life of Pi from 2012. Only one film sticks with me more than This Is the End from the past 4 years, and it's Ang Lee's visual masterpiece, Life of Pi. Yes, I know there are some blatantly religious messages buried in there, and I'm not the most religious person myself, but looking past that and looking at Life of Pi as a movie, a story about a boy lost at sea with a tiger and his journey back to freedom, we can see that Life of Pi is the best film of the past 4 years. The cinematography is, in my opinion, the best so far put to film, with its amazing work with colour, exceptional visual effects, and wonderful attention to detail. And everything from the minimalistic but amazing acting to the sound, the music, which is my favourite soundtrack of all time, and the action is amazing. Watching the film you feel alive and part of a beautiful world, and who else to do it better than Ang Lee, one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. Plus that ending is amazing. Life of Pi is a classic and the best movie I saw in high school.
So guys, what were your favourites? Tell me in the comments below or go to my Twitter page, GambasUK, and comment on my video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be sure to upload many more videos in the future. Goodbye.